Yes, people, my name's Kyle McCabe, and this is Rage Panda Media. And dare I say it, we're back. Football is back. It's not home, but it's back. After a long summer of international football, we can finally get back into what we're truly interested in, which is this badge here and Premier League football. And what an opening weekend we have been given. Truly amazing results. Not only amazing results, but just amazing dominance, I should say, and amazing football overall. I think this season, and I know it's only the first game, but I truly do believe this season is going to be a very hard season when you take into consideration all of the teams that are in it this year that seem to have full, well-rounded sides. I mean, you could even start with the likes of Everton. You could start with the likes of Chelsea. Like, it's going to be the top six battle. Even Spurs, you know, I didn't put Spurs up there until this weekend. I was kind of laughing at them, you know, until I watched the match on Sunday, and I just thought, okay, we have to throw them on there as well. But like, even go down the list, the Premier League is won and lost in the small games. There's only so many big teams in it, but where there's won and where there's lost is how you handle the smaller teams. And a lot of these smaller teams are not messing around this year. Even the likes of Norwich may have lost to Liverpool, but you gave them a game, you know. And if Liverpool had been anyway compromised, then it would have been, that game would have been a lot more difficult for them. So I'd take Norwich against any other top team that could be compromised, even us, if we were got picked up a couple of injuries. If City picked up a couple of injuries, you know, it's teams like that make the Premier League as difficult as it is to win it, you know. And again, even the likes of Brentford this weekend, cracking little team. It's teams like that are going to make this season very interesting. What I can say is, this season, if Manchester City win the league this season, they well and truly deserve it, because I don't think it's been a long while. Now, I can say the season before last was a very complete season. It didn't end that good, you know, with the likes of with the COVID and stuff like that. But from that second place right down to about sixth place, it was very close. And even last season, City did win the league by 10 points, but the teams underneath, like from about 7th right up to 2nd, any of them teams could have finished in a Champions League spot. West Ham were up there, Leicester, you know, a lot of great teams last year that just fell off at the end. And I can't see that happening this season with the transfers that teams have went on and invested in. Even the likes of Vestergaard, that used to play for Southampton, which I feel is one of the best centre backs in the Premier League, I feel, and he's now playing for Leicester, which is a perfect match for them. They've got a well-rounded team. They've centre forward sorted, something that City don't even have sorted. City don't have a centre forward. I'll get into that in a minute. But even the likes of they have Vardy centre forward. They've got a great midfield. They've got Maddison there still. They've got Iheanacho. They've got a great team, and now they've got that brick wall in defence. They're not going to be a team that you're going to want to mess with this season. No way. And they will be a great side to watch. Uh, Anything else on that? Yeah, it's this season I feel I'm only going by day one, but I feel this season is going to be a madness. It's going to be crazy, and I find that it's going to be very, very exciting to watch. And me and myself, I cannot wait to sit down and watch this season unfold. It's going to be very, very exciting. Let's bring it. Let me see what else happened over this weekend. No, I pretty much summed it up. So now I'm gonna get into some of the fixtures from this weekend. So I'm gonna start on the right hand side here, and I'm gonna work my way down to the last game that was on this weekend, which was the City Spurs game. Great game, great result. So here we go. So let's start off. First game of the season was on Friday, and we had Brentford versus Arsenal. Now, I knew things were going to be difficult for Arsenal. You know, they're still a ground team. You know, and I don't like to shoot a man while he's down, because I know what that feels like. You know, with Ollie, a lot of people, you know, he was on his second season. He only had half a season, and they were calling it second season. It was really his first proper season. Lost a couple of games, hadn't got the team right. People wanted his head. They wanted to chop his head off. It's not how it works, people. It isn't. It takes years to cultivate a culture of 5 savages that are willing to go out there and take the game with a scruff of the neck and win it. That takes years, not months, not 1 year, not 2 years, years. Call it 4 to 5 years, which I think is disgraceful that managers today don't have that ability to be able to manage a team for 4 or 5 years. Because as soon as you sign that piece of paper, that contract, pressure's already on. We want this, we want that, and we want everything else that goes with it. It's not how it works. You know, you need to be on game. You know, which is not fair. You need time to be able to put the team you want out there, and I feel that most managers don't get that. Now, back to Arsenal. It does scare me to see the position that Arsenal are in. Reason being, the difference between Arteta and Ollie is, with Ollie, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I can see that we're going to have to get through all this darkness, all this pain, suffering, losses, draws, miserable results, again, close games, getting slapped up by silly teams. But once we get through all that, we can see that there's a green light at the end of that. There's a Sancho at the end of that. There's a Varane at the end of that. We've got a fit Bruno at the end of that. We've got the team now. We've got a happy Paul Pogba that seems to want to play for the club. Once we got through that dark tunnel, everything else, all the pieces seem to slot into place. Okay, now Arsenal, from what I saw on Friday night, that Arsenal are at the very... I thought Arsenal were kind of in the tunnel last season. They're not. They're nowhere near the tunnel. They've just entered the tunnel now. The team that they have at the moment is not good enough. You know, I don't want to slate the manager, but at the same time, I don't think he did win an FA Cup, but I don't think he's an adequate manager for that job. He's not, especially the prestige that Arsenal Football Club is. I don't think that he's ready for that number, you know. Now, I was watching the match on Friday, and I thought, wow, these this team is in trouble. You know, they didn't have any players really that could kind of take initiative, rally the team, and get even a goal, get some sort of ambition into the squad. The only player that I thought was throwing was Smith Rowe, which, I mean, what else do you expect? He's probably the best piece of class that's on that team is Smith Rowe. Shouldn't be a number 10 though. He's way too young to have that burden on his shoulders. Two things you shouldn't do with young players is give them a captain's armband and put that number 10 on them. You know, let them grow. Do what, look what Manchester United have done with Greenwood, for instance. They have gotten them and they're letting them grow. They're not saying, right, boom, straight away, you're the next talent, like what they did with Rashford early. Right, boom, you're the next one. You're not going to score all the goals. That's too much pressure for a teenager or a kid that just stopped becoming a teenager. You know, you earn that captain's armband maybe 24, 25, and even that's a little bit young. You know, I want them to be merely heading towards the 30s, the 29 age, where they're older now and there's younger kids below them where they can say, look, I was in the same place that you were once. Okay, follow me. I know everything. You can follow me, but you can't do that with a kid that's still only learning themselves. You know, that'd be like starting in a school or a college and you're sitting there, you're doing your first day, you know nothing about this subject, you're getting ready to learn, and the principal comes in and says, you have to teach this class. And you're like, but I haven't got enough experience in even this subject yet. Well, that's just the way it is. We're putting the number 10 jersey on you and you're going to teach this class how to win trophies. But I've never won a trophy myself before. I don't care. Put the jersey on you. We're going to unveil you in a video. We're going to have this big video that we're going to unveil you as the new number 10. Get the jersey on you. Cameras are waiting for you downstairs. That's way too much pressure to be putting on a young lad. You know? And what I saw on Friday was terrifying for Arsenal Football Club. I don't want to say that they're not. Look at Arsenal haven't been a top. They've got prestige. They've got the prestige of a great club in England. They've got the prestige of that number one team in London. But they haven't been the number one team in London for a long time. And if they don't get the finger out, West Ham are going to take them over. So look at West Ham were getting smashed on the Sunday, came back and won. That's the shit that championship teams can do. That's the stuff that prestigious teams are able to do when you're losing. Fight, no matter what you do, no matter the result, whether it's 5-0, 4-1, 4-2, 3-2, 2-1, whatever. You fight to the very end. Like Bielsa's Leeds. From the time that was blows, the game is on, and he's attacking, and he's on you all the time. You don't even have time to breathe. You know? So what I saw from Friday was a team that is not ready yet. They're not a championship level team. It's going to be a long time before they get there. Okay? I don't agree with sacking him. I agree with giving him more time. He has a rough couple of games coming up. Give him a little bit more time. But if there's no light at the end of that tunnel by maybe Christmas, start looking at alternatives. You need a championship manager. And the reason why United, the difference between Oli and Arteta is that Oli watched football from the bench and he came on in one game. So Oli has more fundamental experience when it comes to football than Mikel Arteta, but by a mile, because he sat beside the greatest manager of all time, Alex Ferguson, and he fucking watched the game as it was happening. He analysed it. The game's 1-1. Okay, well, here's what I'm gonna do. Right, I know how to mess with that defender. 70th minute, Fergie brings him on, comes on, scores the winning goal. That's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's career. So for me, I feel Ole's been watching more football from the sidelines from a very young age than any other Premier League manager at the moment. You know, it's a young Premier League manager at the moment, especially in comparison to Mikel Arteta. Now, somewhere where Arteta messed up for me was you play your best players. Okay, you look on your bench, you say, right, Lacazette and Aubameyang were ill. We don't know what they were ill with. They're just ill. Let's just take his word for it. Okay, fair enough. But look at Saka is sitting on the bench. He's sitting there, and you bring him on when it's one or 2-0 down. Then you bring him on. He's the best player that you've got on your team. Him and Smith Rowe together, best players. Now, I get it. You know, you bring him on second half, gets the round of applause from the Brentford thing. I get that. Okay, but we done that last week. Okay, he's a great kid, well loved. Okay, well done. And the things that were done and said about him during the summer was despicable. It was, and he deserves to be applauded when he's entering the pitch as a man that played and fought for his country on an international level. But this is Premier League time now. It's back to business, and you have to play your best players. I'm sorry, he's one of the best players. You can't dispute that. He should have been on that pitch on Friday, and you could see the difference straight away. As soon as he got the ball, he was driving, making moves, and there just wasn't enough going on up front for him, unfortunately. But hopefully, you know, as much as Arsenal have been rivals of ours, I'd like to still love to see them be successful, because they're the last, between Manchester United and Arsenal, are the last two real footballing institutes in England, you know, and it would be sad to see something happen to that. It really would. So I'm hoping that Arsenal can get back on their feet and get back to winning ways. Figure out whatever's going on in the background. Get that sorted, and move on. You know, and get back to the winning ways, to the Arsenal that we all know. So that's my piece on Arsenal. Now, as for Brentford, I am extremely excited to watch this team. I actually can't wait for their next game. I don't even know who they're playing, but I'll be watching, because the football they play is brilliant. They've got great talent. They've got great players. They've got that Tony fellow up front. What a player! What real centre forward. They've got lots of great players. Your man B-Tech Rory Delap with the long throws. Like, people laugh at that. People say, oh, you know, the long throw, but look, it works, and we saw that. All it takes is one throw, boom, straight into the box, and it's game on. Anyone can have that. Once that ball bounced, that ball could have hit off anyone, ricocheted, someone could have kicked it, OG, anything could have happened, and it showed. Then that they scored the second goal, and the goal to actually win the game for Brentford, which was, for me, an incredible accomplishment for your fourth game in the Premier League. Unbelievable. Great team, great recruitment, great staff. Really great team to enjoy watching. The manager seems like a lovely bloke as well. That video that he shared the other day was lovely, when he went up to the kid and and celebrated with him. You know, great fans, everything about them. I'm just very, very excited for them to be in the Premier League. So that's Arsenal versus Brentford. I hope I covered everything there, and I hope we didn't offend anyone. Just saying how we say it. If you have any issues with anything that we say, don't forget to say it down in the comment section, and we can go at it. Let's go. So the next fixture that I want to look at is Leicester versus Wolves. Tough one for Wolves, you know. They let a great manager go last season, and we saw that this weekend. Say what you want about him. Nuno is a great manager. He's a good person, great spirit, and he seems to know how to attack. He knows how to do it, which is the perfect manager for Spurs, coming off the back of defensive Mourinho. You know, they needed a manager that didn't care. He's like, look, I'm here. I don't care. I may as well lose. I may as well lose by doing what I want to do than lose doing something that I don't want to do. And he's just he's a very fearless manager. He goes for it. And we saw that on Sunday. He went for it. He got the result. And what more can I say? As for Wolves, though, they did let a great manager go. I think he deserved more. Now, don't get me wrong, they still have a lot of their great players. They lost the manager, but they still have Jimenez, they still have Neves, they still have a lot of the players, Cody, that made them, that kind of kept them in the mid-table success that they've been. And, you know, props to them. But I just think that without that key component of Nuno, I think there could be an issue. I think, you know, Nuno should be pushing to bring Jimenez to Tottenham. If they sell Harry Kane, it has to be, there's two people, it's Jimenez or Brentford, before the end of September. Have to sign for Tottenham Hotspur. You know, even both of them, you're getting 150 mil. Sign two of them. Bamford, Jimenez, Son, Mora. That's an unbelievable attack to have, I feel. And you know, it's like that how would you say it, Suarez, Coutinho effect, where you kind of panic and you think, oh no, we're letting go of the best player, but it actually ends up being the best thing for your club, because you ended up being able to buy the 2 or 3 key players that could fill that position, that actually make you stronger than you would have been if you had held on to Harry Kane. So I think if they can get 150 for Harry Kane, 150 offer for Harry Kane, get rid of him, gone. Now, I don't want them to go to City, but if I'm talking from a Tottenham fan's perspective, get rid of him, gone. Bring in those 3 attacking players, Bamford, Jimenez, and then you've still got Son there. He's on the 4-year contract. For me, you can put him up centre forward either way, and he'll bag you a few goals. It could actually do him a favour that he's no longer at the that Kane would no longer be playing there anymore, because it gives him more leeway, more room to flex on people, you know. But look, I'll come back to Spurs in a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself. To Leicester anyway. Leicester again on the winning sheet, won their first game against Wolves, you know. Tough win, but they got the win. That was an incredible goal from Jamie Vardy. Great player. Like, he doesn't get the props that he deserves. He's an absolute savage up front. You have to give it to him. And then the celebration again held him to the mill, because he's playing against Wolves. Like, that's a level of shithousery that I've never seen in this Premier League. I don't know how he does it. He just keeps that level up at all times. He's an absolute savage, to tell you the truth. But yeah, he's somehow seems to be able to find the goal no matter what. Even that weird angle, ball came in, he caught it on the volley at that crazy angle. Unbelievable. And then the shithousery at the end of howling to the moon because he's playing against Wolves, like what he done against Palace when he started flying. You know, he's just. I wonder does anyone like actually come to him and say, "Listen, Jamie, you can't be doing that stuff. You know, it's not nice." Or does he just not give a shit? Or does the club not give a shit? Rodgers is like, go for it. As long as you're scoring a goal, you can smash as many corner flags as you want to, son. Now get out there and win me the game. You know? Great team to watch as well. Ian Archew, Vardy, who was Altigo. Again, Vestergaard in defence. Very, very... an outside team. If I was putting a bet on now for the team to win the Premier League as an outsider, not as an outsider, as an extreme outsider, I'd say Leicester to win it again this season as an extreme outsider, because they seem to have adjusted the things that needs adjusting without losing much, which is fucking nearly impossible to do. I don't know how Rodgers managed to do it. He seems to have pulled a masterstroke there. Yeah, great result for Leicester. 3 points. 3 points on the board for them. Just gonna get me a drink and then we can crack on. Now, let me see. The next result that I want to talk about here is Watford versus Aston Villa, which was a very, very good game. And Watford, another team that came up that's going to give teams problems. The season is won and lost in them smaller teams. It is. You can win. You can be. Like, just say from United perspective, you can be Spurs, City, Liverpool, Leicester, and it still wouldn't be enough to win your league. Okay, you still have to go away to Brentford and win that game, get a draw. Go to Wolves, win that game, get a draw. Watford, win that game, get a draw. The stable of the Premier League is won and lost in those mid-table teams. And with the additions that we have this season with Watford, Brentford and Norwich, they're only going to add to how hard them games are going to be. Now, depending on how easy you handle them teams, it will show you, how much of a savage your team actually is. You know, them games like City and Liverpool and all them are always going to be scrappy games where they're holding back, you're holding back, nobody actually wants to go for it. But that's okay, you can do that 6 times in a season, but you can't do it 38 or 36 times in a season. Why? Because you have to know when to press, when it's time to press, and when to chill, when it's time to chill, and that's where the game is won and lost. Watford against Villa. Now, if we had like an accumulator this weekend, Villa all day long, even though they lost Grealish, they've still got a decent team. They've actually brought in decent players. Like, I think the again, much like Tottenham, I think the loss of Jack Grealish could actually help Watford, you know, or could help Villa. And with the addition of Danny Ings and the player that they got from Leverkusen, can't remember his name, all great players though. So these teams are going to cause havoc on the likes of United, the likes of City, the likes of Liverpool this season. And we saw Watford straight away, first game of the season, with a 3-2 win. They played great, and what a great goal from McGinn and Danny Ings scoring on his debut, which I expect to see more from that. He's the perfect player for that team. So now on to the next results. I need to crack on with this because we are running out on battery life. Right, here we go. Right then. I didn't watch Burnley versus Brighton this weekend, but I did watch Newcastle versus West Ham United, which was a very, very entertaining game, considering it was just before the Tottenham versus City game. And I thought, look, it'll two small teams. I'll sit down and throw an eye on them, you know. It'll be a good warm before the Spurs versus City game, you know. But little did I know that the game was just going to be filled with goals altogether. I think there was 6 goals altogether. 4-2 that one ended, which is a crazy result, especially for the two teams. That's their first game back in the Premier League. Oh, not back in the Premier League, but it's their first game in the Premier League this season. And what a way to entertain the fans back in the stadiums as well. Great result. I thought Newcastle looked great on the attack, but the defence is dirt, is very, very bad. And I also thought that West Ham, though, again, West Ham are very shaky on the back, but they've got that experience in their attack, and they've got that Antonio, they've got Soucek, they've got players that can actually pull the result out of the bag, no matter how bad the game's going for them. And yeah, I thought that was a very, very interesting result for West Ham, and a good way to start off their campaign. And I will be very interested to see how they go this season in regards to with Lingard or without Lingard. I'd like to see Lingard go back there at least until Christmas, because I thought last season he was very, very entertaining to watch in that West Ham United jersey. So yeah, incredible start for West Ham, and very entertaining game as far as Newcastle is concerned. But I don't think Newcastle have much to worry about this season with the addition to Willock in there. And I think that's what you are missing even against West Ham. I think they could have done with maybe one more goal, maybe put the game to bed or bring it around to a 3-0 result. But look, they got the win anyway, West Ham, and they secured Willock, which was their star boy last season. So be interesting to see how things go for both Newcastle and West Ham throughout the season. Great start for West Ham. Now on to the next game, which was the next game, the next side, I think, yeah, because I still have results that I need to break down over this side. We'll do United last, and we'll go on to Chelsea. Let's get this off here. There we go. Boom. So yeah, we're gonna look at Chelsea, and yeah, look, we knew that this season, especially, they didn't have a great start to last season. Let's be honest, Frank Lampard as manager couldn't get the results that you needed. So, as the big man upstairs does all the time, he sacked them and got a better man in there, and they ended the season decent enough, and with a Champions League trophy to their name. And we knew that Chelsea were going to be title contenders this season. There's no doubt about that. Tuchel is a great manager. He seems to know exactly what he's looking for. This was a game without Ziyech, without a lot of their best players, and they still have Lukaku to come in next weekend. So, and for the season, so I think that team is only going to get more and more dangerous as the season progresses. But we're going to stick to the task at hand, which is Chelsea versus Crystal Palace, which ended in a 3-0 result to Chelsea. They played great football, great attacking football. Nice goal from Alonso, nice free kick. He can do that. We know that that's in his repertoire, and he pulled it out the bag at the weekend. You know, incredible free kick. Great goal from Pulisic, but all the focus was on the third goal scorer, which I don't want to mess his name up. I'm gonna go try and get that. Chalobah. He's a kid. Came up through the system at Chelsea, and you know, as all young players coming in, the only team that you can dream of is scoring a goal on your debut. It doesn't matter what the goal looks like. If it was a scrappy goal, if it was a header, a ricochet, even an own goal, as long as you contributed in that game, is the dream for your first game for your club in which you came up through. Well, he scored on his debut, which was a dream come true, but the way he scored was the most incredible way. Unbelievable goal, smacked the ball as hard as he could, and the ball bounced into the back of the net. Very, very good goal for him, especially on his debut. Couldn't be happier for the lads, and the scream from the fans that he got, and the scream, from the crowd after he scored that goal was something to behold. It makes you realise the difference between real fans and just the sound of fans. They really, when that ball hit the back of the net, you could hear the fans' screams just radiate, and the players huddled around him, and even the players around him knew how special that moment was for him. You know, when he was a kid, he put out a tweet saying that he's going to be a successful footballer for his mum, and that sort of thing really hits home, to be able to say, I'm going to make something of my life, and be able to hold on to that all the way through. And he's managed to do it. He scored a great goal on his debut for his club, and couldn't be more happier for the lad. Great goal and great result for Chelsea. Now, next one was Everton versus Southampton. Everton versus Southampton ended 3-1. Very interesting game. Rafa Benitez, first game in the Premier League in charge of Everton, after them being managed by Ancelotti last season. But I sense something different from this Everton team this season. I saw that they were on the ropes in the first half by Southampton. Don't get me wrong, Southampton did put in a good shift, but the class and quality that Everton have was always going to be too much for Southampton, especially considering the amount of players, and especially important players, that Southampton have lost this season. I think it was just a matter of time before the class and quality that Everton have going to outshine Southampton, and we saw that in the game. Great goal from Decore, great header from Calvert-Lewin, and a great goal from Richarlison that saw out the rest of the game for Everton and secured them to 3 points. 3 goals, 3 points. And I think Benitez was a very overlooked manager for a lot of clubs, especially the likes of Tottenham and stuff like that. and I feel like he's will do bits. Well, I don't think he'll get them into a Champions League spot, but I think he's at least going to get them into maybe a Europa League spot, judging by the way I saw them play at the weekend. And I am very excited to see what Benitez can do with Everton throughout the season. So 3-1, great result for Everton. Next game was Norwich versus Liverpool, which ended 3-0. Now, Liverpool were always going to win that game, and they did win the game, but even though they won the game, I did see a few little holes here and there in the game, which an attacking team or a team that's more clinical on the attack would be able to find and do harm to. So I'd like to see in Liverpool's next fixture how their opponent will actually deal with them in that sense. But Liverpool haven't really gained much in the transfer window, but they haven't lost much either. You know, they still have players like Salah, Mane and Firmino still there, plus the likes of Trent, who just signed a new deal. Very exciting stuff still going on in that club. I don't necessarily think that they needed many transfers, to be honest with you. May as well just use what you already have and go for it from there. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Now, I know you say if it's not broke, don't fix it, but look at last season, they look pretty broken, but a lot of their defenders were injured and stuff, and now they have another chance to go at it again with a full squad. Van Dijk and who's the other fella in defence for them? Fabinho. You know, they've got a lot of great players that were injured last season that can still do damage to a team or help a team get to the tops that they were once at a season or two ago. So I still think that Liverpool fans do have a right to be optimistic, but I would like to see how a decent attacking team would actually do against now don't get me wrong, Norwich are a good attacking team, they're just not an experienced attacking team, and I would like to see how an experienced attacking team goes about dealing with Liverpool in their next game. So that's Liverpool Norwich sealed. On to the next one, which is Tottenham Man City. We'll go into Tottenham Man City and then we'll finish on our boys. Okay, so how do we start this one? Right. During the week I was looking through all the fixtures and this one came up. And immediately when I saw it, in my head I thought, right, City, they were champions last season, they're going to steamroll them. That was my initial thought. That was from Monday, Tuesday, had the same thought, Wednesday, all the way to Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday had the exact same thought until I saw on the television the two lineups side by side. And I looked at how thin Man City are up front. You have to break down City thoroughly and look at the players that they have and players that can score goals. Sterling, if I'm looking at Raheem Sterling one-on-one, I'm putting the house on a missing every time. If Sterling is one-on-one with the keeper, I'm going to bet my house that Sterling is going to miss that, and 99% of the time he does miss it. So I was looking at that, took that into consideration. I thought, don't think so. Jack Grealish in their first Premier League game. I don't think Jack Grealish is there to supply the players that can win you the league. That's what he's there for. I don't think he's a player that will actually grab a team by the scruff of the neck and bring them to a title. So looking at all of that and then looking at up front, they don't have a big man up there. A Harry Kane, a Jamie Vardy, a Brentford, someone up there that can score the goal, you know. And looking at that then at the lineups, I was looking at it and then I saw Spurs lineup, Morta and Son, and I thought, you know, I actually fancy Tottenham's chances in this game. After all, after a week of me slating them putting them down, I actually looked at it and thought, you know, I actually fancy Tottenham's chances in this game. So much so I put a bet on them, and I was right, you know. And again, I just thought Spurs had what City didn't have up front. They had a clinical players that can actually finish and get you a goal and get you out of a hole, which is exactly what happened. What an incredible finish that was by Son. And I think with Harry Kane out of the way at that club, I really do think that this will allow Son to flourish. And I think with him alone, they could actually get pretty far in the league. I'm not saying they could win the league, but I'm saying that they could possibly get into a Champions League qualification if the team can keep their head together the way they did against City. You know, last season we saw Spurs pull out terrific results against City, United, Arsenal, Chelsea, but they couldn't beat the smaller teams, and that's where the league, as I always say, is won and lost. And it'll be interesting to see how the likes of Moura, Son, even Tandanga, the other centre backs, Dwyer, players like that, because they all had great games against City, but I'm just wondering how that's going to carry out into the rest of the season for them. And if they can play the way they played against City for the majority of the season, I don't think Tottenham fans should have that much to complain about, because they dismantled City and they broke them down, and they had a terrific game against them, and for that they got a terrific result. So big up Spurs on that one, and a great win, great way to start the season for those lads. Now on to the Devils. Now, our lads, okay? Manchester United versus Leeds ended 5-1. Now, what was my thoughts going into this game? I didn't really think about it that much during the week. I was actually more fixated on the Spurs City game. But what I will say is that in hindsight, I was a bit nervous at the start. I was thinking, right, we haven't really started the season that good in a while. Last season was atrocious, and I thought, we might be late bloomers again this year. We might start the season bad, end it decent, So I was nervous. But the more the game went on, I saw and I kind of thought about how we beat Leeds last season, and I gained a little bit of confidence. But even at that, Leeds still always have that ability to pull a result out the bag against anybody. They're a great attacking team, great manager, great players, great centre forwards. They have the likes of Ayling, Cooper, all these sort of players that can pull a result out the bag for you. And I was slightly getting nervous that those lads would put something together, but we scored. We opened up the game with a great goal from Bruno Fernandes, and I thought, right, this is it, this is the start of it, let's go. But the game fell off from then in the first half. It kind of went dead, and then second half starts, and then we have that magnificent goal from the main man himself of Leeds, Ayling. It was some hit. I was initially thinking that he could have closed it down a bit better, but I don't think there was no keeper, no defender, no one stopping that. That ball had a destination written on it, and the destination had one name only, and that was the goal, and that's exactly where it went to. So looking into it that way, I thought, right, here we go, same old United, this is it now. For the rest of the game, we're just going to defend the draw, or else we're just going to fall apart and Leeds will beat us the same way we've started most of the seasons in the last year or two. So we thought, look, this is it. Here we go. Good luck. But then all of a sudden, I don't know when I say, I know Pogba done great in the game, but I want to give the props for taking the game with the scruff of the neck to Mason Greenwood. Ball comes out to Greenwood from Pogba, just runs with it, just goes like Forrest Gump, no stopping, run for this run, ball cuts across, boom, as close to the far post as possible, clips the post into the back of the net, 2-1. From that point forward, Pogba was like a music orchestrator. He just took the ball and took the whole game to himself and fed some of the probably the best assists that you'll see in the history of the Premier League. Those 4 assists. Bruno gets his first hat-trick at the club. Pogba's first time in the history, I don't want to say in the Premier League, but at least in the club, that Pogba got 4, that a player got 4 assists in one game. Incredible. You know, things were good when you saw Fred getting on the score sheet, and I just thought from the point when Greenwood scored, the league just fell apart, and it took over, which I was extremely happy about. Game ended 5-1, which I think the last time we played them ended was 6-1 or 6-2, which is pretty much the same. And yeah, I thought United just went slightly into second gear and took the game by the scruff of the neck, got the win, and I was really impressed with how that game ended. So that was a great 3 points for us. 5 points, I know it's the 4th game of the season, but 5 goals put us top of the table and goal difference, and hopefully we can keep that momentum going on into the next game, which is, I'm pretty sure our next game is against Southampton, which I'm gonna go and have a look at the results for next week. So where do we go? Right, so Saturday 21st of August, we've 12:30, we have Liverpool Burnley. Sure thing for Liverpool, surely. Then we have Villa Newcastle. I'd say Villa to win that one. Palace Brentford, I'd actually put my money on Brentford to win that one. Leeds Everton, Everton to win that one. City Norwich, City have to win that one. Something's not right if they lose that one. Brighton Watford, that could be a draw. And then Sunday we've got Southampton. Now last season we put 9 goals past Southampton, and I'm pretty sure this season we're going to do I'm not saying that we're going to put 9 past them, but we will beat them. They were out a lot of their key players this season. They sold a lot of them. They sold Ings, and they sold the other boy, what's his name, Vestergaard. So we can see us winning that game pretty comfortably. Nuno back at Tottenham, that'll be an interesting game. Arsenal Chelsea, it's a sure win. That's a sure win for Chelsea. I'd even go as far to say 3 or 4-0 on that one, and I say Leicester versus West Ham, I'll say 2-1 Leicester, and that's on Monday night as well. Lovely. So we have the Monday night football back as well. So that's my picks for the week, and yeah, nice comfortable team for United this weekend. Hopefully we can treat it as such and get the win. And yeah, that's all the football for next weekend and this weekend game gone, rounded up. So yeah, I'm going to just take a quick look at the fantasy football for this week and have a look at the points that my team accumulated. I accumulated 80 points, which is probably the most I've accumulated. I think the last 3 times I've done this, I've accumulated 50 or below. On the first game, I've accumulated 80 points this season, so that's something to be happy about. So Vestergaard 1 point, White 1 point, Aspilicueta 6, Ayling 6, 40 points for Fernandez, of course, scored a hat-trick. And that was only our vice captain. This week I'm going to have him captain, definitely, especially if he can start against Southampton the way he started against Leeds. I'm hoping for a lot more points. Cantwell 1, Ward-Prowse 2, Salah 17, Pukki 2 and Jimenez 2, which accumulated to 80 points all round, which is a very good start for me on week 1 of my fantasy Premier League. So that's everything rounded up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification for any videos that I have coming up. I'll be doing a lot of these videos throughout the season. And yeah, great start to the season all round, and thank you for watching.